This is Will Montgomery, former Washington Redskins center.
Yo, what's good, folks? This is Trey Johnson, the headbanger, yo, and you're listening to Mess Hall with Rally Captain and Tailgate Ted. Word.
What's going on, Rally? You ready for that long car ride or bus ride up to New York?
Well, I guess I'd rather have that than a 7.5 hour flight to Madrid.
I hear you. Actually, I didn't think the flight to Madrid was that bad just because it was an overnight one for me. Did you leave at nighttime and wake up there, or how'd you get out there?
Yeah, we left basically at 6 or 7 in the evening and then got there in the morning. I mean, it wasn't bad, but at the same time, just, I don't know, just being in the same spot, knowing that you've got 7 hours or whatever have you to do nothing, basically. At least on this bus trip, we'll have music, we'll have interaction amongst all the other fans on the bus. So, and we're taking 255 passenger buses. So I'll be on one bus and Miss Rally will be on the other one.
That's awesome, man. So you guys are taking, so that's going to be 110 people up, or just in general, right around there?
About 105 because we got to have the back seat for our drinks.
There you go. I'm assuming there's a bathroom on the back of that bus. People are having a good time because I've seen some videos, at least from the ones last year during the run. You guys, it seemed to be a freaking blast, man.
Oh yeah, people have a good time, and yes, there are bathrooms. And the bus driver will tell you this bathroom is for number ones, not number twos.
So no breakfast burritos before people jump on that bus.
Please, no.
Yeah, I made the mistake of grabbing some Anita's burritos one time. Actually, I usually take the train to New York, but a bus with, 55 of my friends on it sounds a hell of a lot better time than actually just taking the train up there. I texted you last week when you were out there in Minnesota saying I was bummed to not be out there. Ticket prices are dropping for this game. JP Finley was talking about, I think, getting uppers for 20-something dollars at this point.
Yeah.
And we'll talk about it in a minute. Now that Jayden's out officially, I'm sure prices are probably going to drop a little bit more. And those of you looking to, little road trip up 95, regardless of what we're looking like this season, it's still a good time, and we still got a good chance to take down the Giants.
And it's still an NFL game. So, put your layers on and let's just go have a good time and have some good food, good company, adult beverages. And that's what it's all about, man. I always try to tell people sometimes, what happens before the game is some of the best times. And so this is going to hold true to that as well, because who knows what's going to happen on the field, but all you can do is control what you can control. So I'm looking forward to it.
Speaking of what's happened before the game, you're obviously doing a rally out there. I got the information, assuming you don't have it on. I at least got the information with the address and everything else. So when's it going to be and where's it going to be?
It's going to be at Dorian's Red Hand in New York City.
Nice.
From 4 to 6.
Okay.
I've got to get back.
That's downtown New York City, 1616 2nd Avenue, New York, New York, 10028. So those of our listeners that are actually going to be up there the day before, stop by, make sure you swing on through. There's going to be appearances by some Washington legends, a chance to win a signed football, giveaways. Speaking of which, what I'm rocking right now is a giveaway that the Commanders had during the rally in Madrid. So not saying you're going to have, something like this floating out there, but
no, please don't. Please don't, because we will not have that good a swag that you have on right there, brother. But hey, it looks good on you.
I appreciate it. So the staff at the Irish Rover was wearing this, and the place hadn't opened yet. So I'm sitting there looking at my wallet, trying to count how many euro I have to try and buy someone's shirt off of them that was working at the bar. So I'm thinking, all right, if I give this guy like 30 euro, right, he'll probably give me his shirt. Right? We look to be the same size. All right, see if I can. So I had in Google Translate, can I give you this for your shirt? Which probably would have sounded weird. Luckily, they opened the door and they had some of the staff inside handing these shirts out. So I didn't have to bribe a guy literally for the shirt off his back. But I have seen the swag that you guys have been giving out. And there have been some cool shirts and some different stuff out there. So you guys get there, make sure you try and grab some of that stuff before it's gone.
Definitely, because they give me a limited supply, and that's why I say while supplies last, because literally people line up, and it's one of the first things they want. You can have a 50 bottle openers, but the fact they're giving you one for free again, you're gonna take it. So
It cracked me up, man, because people start lining up. You don't even ask people. People just start lining up when they get there because they want that same Major Tutty keychain, right? They have maybe 4 keys total, but they've got 16 keychains because they've been going to all your rallies and they just want a 17th.
yeah,
So, and maybe it's the holiday season and they're giving them away as stocking stuffers to family.
Secret
So,
Santa, that's right.
maybe, it's someone's white elephant because I would definitely take that if it was someone's white elephant present. But it's going to be a blast. Dorian's, I know, always is a good time. And I just can't, I know what you're doing because SPE fence, you got to come back down. I just can't believe you're going up to New York for the rally and then you're coming back down and then you're hopping back up on the bus the very next day. So to me, man, that is some freaking commitment and another reason why you are our fan of the year.
Ted, I didn't even really realize that that's what I was doing until you just said that. Even though I know I'm doing it, it's one of those things to where, I mean, the show must go on. And so I am the rally captain and I will keep the show going on. So yeah, man, you just brought it back to reality.
I hear you, man. And it's, I get people that are giving me a hard time because I've mentioned before, I'm skipping the holidays with the family to watch our football team on Christmas Day. Like, oh, how are you doing that? What's going on? What's wrong with you? Why are you, not spending time with them? Like, there's a lot of reasons behind the scenes, right? Why I'm not doing that for financial obligations because it is just expensive to travel around the holidays. The other part of it is the rallies are your thing, right? You are our rally captain. These rallies would not be happening without you. My tailgate does not go on without me. I got a lot of men and women behind the scenes, but
Hmm.
we are the destination for a lot of people that come in from Europe and just all over the place. They don't have a place to call home. So that's why I'm not canceling it, even though I have been asked by a lot of people to please just not have one. I have not missed a home game since I've had season tickets, and I ain't going to start now. I don't care if we're 3-10 or at that point 3-12, whatever it may be. It's still going to go on, just like these rallies are still going to go on as long as you can find a venue that'll host you guys.
Yeah, and that's what my saying, the other saying that I have, 0-17 or 17-0, we rep the burgundy and gold until the day we're dead and cold. That's just how it is. And that's not gonna change. It just isn't. So I don't care how much you try to talk me out of it, how much you try to say it's a waste. It's my waste. It's not yours. So you do you and let me do me and be in my happy space, you know? So we all have one. I don't bother people when they're kicking their trash cans down the road. So let me have a good time with my rallies and my burgundy and gold family.
Yeah, I hear you, man. And that's what I am envious of, right? I'm not envious of the game. I'm envious of the camaraderie and the stories that are going to come out of that bus trip, right? It's just those are memories that are priceless. This season has definitely been a waste, right? And it's not where we all had thought it was going to be. To go from winning
No.
14 games last year to now potentially only winning what, 5, 6 more, whatever the hell we can possibly get to.
Yeah.
It's upsetting. And, to get the heartbreaking news today that Jayden's not playing on Sunday. And those that have not heard, Coach had his press conference. And yes, on Monday, Riley and I talked about it. He did say that there was nothing structurally wrong with Jayden. Well, instead of hearing it from me, this is actually what DQ had to say about his status today.
Jayden and where we're at. So he did re-aggravate his elbow injury in the game. No structural setbacks. However, through the medical evaluations, over the last couple of days, including this morning, doctors advised us we hold him this Sunday. And so Marcus will start. And we're really bummed for Jayden. Like, he is working incredibly hard to get back on the field with his guys. And so tough deal. He's absolutely going for it. So wanted to get that out as we got started, and glad to open up to you guys and get rolling as we get ready for the Giants.
Do you anticipate him coming back this season, and what's, again, the value, I guess, with
Sure.
only 3 days?
Well, I know that's why I wanted to come out. He's going to be out this week. He'll practice as we're going in a limited fashion. But let's see where we're at next week. We're always going to make the best decisions, John, for him, for the team, what the medical, opinions are. So we kind of just wanted to give you that information today, and then we can work into next week.
I just want to clarify one thing. You said after the game that he could have gone back in.
Correct.
So this was discovered further imaging on Monday.
Yeah, the imaging was good, so there's no structural setbacks. But just like most players, you talk to them on a Sunday, and then again, what Monday feels like, and not quite the same of swelling or strength and those things to go into it. So it was confirmed no structural in the evaluation at the game, and then again this week.
So what did you think? Because I texted you. I knew you were going to hear it, but I texted you when DQ came out with it, because I literally sit there and wait for his press conferences to drop so I can record them and then get them ready for the show. But I also want to, know for my own edification what's going on. What did you think when you heard that Jayden's out?
I really didn't think anything, Ted. That's just, and I know that doesn't do well for our listeners, but if I'm going to give it to you, the real me, it didn't do anything for me, because at this juncture in the season, if we need to sit him, sit him. If he's not healthy, I've always said, if you're healthy, you play. If you're not healthy, you don't play. And it seems as if they've made a business decision to sit him down. If you tell me that there's nothing wrong, then who am I to second guess to say you should play him? If the doctors clear him to play him. If they don't, sit him. And it sounds like they've said don't play him. And because of that, I'm okay. If they said he was okay to play and for whatever reason he's not playing, then I got a problem with that. Even though we only have 3 games or more to play and virtually, if people want to say for the sake of conversation, nothing to play for, then I'd have a problem. But they say he's not okay, and I'm okay with their answer. What about you?
So the past couple of days, I've just been dealing with a bunch of Washington fans just angry that Jayden played this past week, right? He never should have played against the Vikings, blah, 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 right? Even though he was medically cleared and he was fine and he passed all the tests. I've got people saying, look at him. He's wearing a brace. He shouldn't be out there. Hate to break it to you guys. It was week 14. How many players wear braces, right? And it was just padding on his elbow. Then I'm sitting there having people say, well, look, he was obviously favoring his left arm. He never should have been out there. So then I cut up clips of literally a couple of Jayden's runs where he dove and put down that left arm to brace his fall. If you are favoring a body part, you are going to try and shy away from using that body part. Not when you're running around, diving, then using that body part to brace your impact on the ground. Right? 2 examples of that I showed this one guy. He also used that left arm to stiff arm John Allen in the face. I think some of that was just self-preservation for John, trying to demolish him and just destroy him at that point. But when he got thrown like a rag doll on that last play, and DQ said he could have gone back in, but they held him out because the team wasn't firing on all cylinders, I'm thinking he probably could have gone back in because adrenaline is a hell of a thing.
Oh, yeah.
Right. And structurally, they didn't see anything wrong with it, but that doesn't mean that there's not a bone bruise, because that isn't structural. Right. And I don't want to speculate on what it is, but now you've got people in the fan base that are calling him soft. You've got people that are coming back and attacking the young man, which bothers me personally, because best believe if that kid showed us anything last year, he is a competitor through and through. And now you're blaming him for a decision that is not his about the fact that he cannot play or will not play on Sunday. These doctors' sole job is to take the decision out of the player's hands and out of the coach's hands. And if the doctors say he can't go, then he can't go. Plain and simple.
Exactly. And I'll say this. If any of these people who are saying that he's soft have played in the NFL, then maybe I'll listen to him. Maybe. If not, hit the road, man.
And Madden with a VR headset on doesn't count. Right?
No.
Just like a Cowboy fan from DC that had a layover in Dallas doesn't count that you've actually been to Dallas. All right. So you guys need to slow your roll coming after this kid. It cracks me up because these are the same people that were on his jock last year. And yes, I have been very adamant that he should play, but I also said with that, if he is healthy and he is cleared, right?
That's the caveat.
DQ said he re-aggravated his elbow injury. I cannot imagine being thrown to the turf like that, running full speed, trying to make a play for your team at that point. Yes, it was because he threw an interception, but he's still trying to make a play and landing on that thing. So he's banged up. And some people are saying ownership came down and they don't want him to play. No one knows the truth. We're not going to find it out. So regardless, we're not going to see him. And we're going to get behind Marcus and see what happens from there.
Yeah.
Now
we don't have a choice. Go ahead.
I think I know your answer, but we've got after this, we've got what? The Eagles, the Cowboys, and the Eagles.
Yep.
Should he try and come back out? And will he? John Keim asked DQ, is he done for the season? And Quinn said they're not making that determination. But do you think he'll be back out there? And do you think he should be back out there if he is healthy, knowing we have 3 games left?
If he is healthy and they give him a clean bill of health, definitely. He's a football player. A part of, I'm not going to say that. What I'm going to say is he's a football player. He gets paid handsomely to play football. And we've always said, if you're healthy, you play. If you're not, don't. Do you think that Chris Rodriguez wants to run the ball when they think that, well, I got nothing to play for? How about I let somebody come from the second string or whoever that may be, whether it be McNichols or whether it be Bill? You think he's going to give his spot up just because there's nothing to play for? No, he's going to play because ultimately you don't want someone who can come in and take your job due to injury. You don't want it, or not playing. And that's where we are. I got people at my job saying, hey, do you think we ought to be looking for another quarterback next year because this guy's injury prone? And I'm like, man, I don't see him being injury prone. I just see him having just a bad set of circumstances. And it happens. So, it's football. It's going to happen. You keep trudging along. So I'm going to throw it back on you. Should he play if he's cleared with these 2 games left?
Yeah, he should. Right. And he right now, in my opinion, is not seeing the field like he did last year. And I went back to watch all 22 just of him this year. Right. And basically his incomplete passes is what I went back and watched going through, because on the NFL Pro, you can sit there and put in different characteristics and it just narrows down all the stuff that meets that. So all of his incomplete throws, you can just go through there and look, right? Or his scrambles. And looking at that, he just does not appear to see the field like he did last year. Some of that is defenses adjusting to Cliff's offense and play calls and the routes that are being run. Some of that is guys just not, the talent that's on the field, right? Not to knock Robbie Chosen, but certain guys just not getting open. Going out there with 13 personnel and you've got 3 tight ends, one of them's an offensive lineman, and the guy that's running that route wouldn't be a third string on another team, right? So it's just struggling from that perspective. But another part of it is Jayden just does not have reps, right? This was from one of Grant Paulson's tweets. Jayden Daniels has either been unavailable for or injured in 11 of the Commanders' 14 games this season, right? The Giants game stayed healthy. Green Bay game, after that, knee injury. Raiders didn't play after that. Falcons didn't play. He came back for the Chargers, stayed healthy. For the Bears, he played, stayed healthy. Cowboys left with an injury, hamstring. The following game, Kansas City didn't play. Seattle left with an injury to his elbow. He didn't play versus Detroit, Miami, or Denver. Minnesota left with an elbow, and then now he's not playing for the Giants. Right? You tell me what player can get in any kind of rhythm knowing A, you're not getting reps at practice because of all this, and B, you're not getting any reps on the field. And if there's a position that you need rhythm, it's quarterback.
Definitely.
So,
I mean, we tried to think about his rookie year, the Tampa game, the preseason games, and he needed those reps, and eventually he got them. And the more that he got, he was able to thrive. And so football, let's face it, Ted, is a timing. If the receiver's 3 yards and out, that ball's got to be out. If he's not used to it, it's going to look bad. It's like somebody who comes back from an injury, a hip injury or ankle injury. They sit those guys out for a long time until that ankle heals up, because you can't cut the same. You can't move the same. So let this young man heal up. And if he's ready to go in 2 games and he's only got 1 game left, then by gosh, put him on the field and get him out there and let him end on a high note, if you will. Put him in position to succeed, not to fail, so he can end on a high note. Because at the end of the day, we all got feelings. We all know, damn, is this how I really want to go out? I've got 9 months to stew now over what could have been or what should have been. And we don't want that.
So what do you say to those fans that are saying after the Ertz injury, and I know you haven't watched Hard Knocks yet, but basically talk about timing, right? Zach Ertz was mic'd up for Hard Knocks.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Yeah. He was mic'd up for Hard Knocks. I don't want to say the entire, but I'd want to say a majority of the Commanders segment on Hard Knocks was the team honoring Zach Ertz. And if you guys haven't watched it yet, sorry, I'm going to spoil it for you. There was a spot where they were honoring Zach Ertz in the team room, and the entire team is watching game film of Ertz. And I'm sure you guys have seen that video clip of that old person just kind of running down the field for a touchdown on an actual professional football field. I think it was a flag football game or something. They basically made it seem like that old guy running was Ertz running, considering how slow he is when he catches the ball, right? And his teammates were just sitting there cheering for him. But what was tough was they showed the Ertz hit, and he was mic'd up, and you can hear him after he gets hit and while he's actually getting hit and in that entire process. And he knows that it's done. And when I told you he was crying when I texted you, they've got him mic'd up crying on that cart coming out. So there are some fans that are saying team is now gun shy because of what happened to Ertz. And they're too scared to see that potentially happen to Jayden, and that's why he's not in there.
People will come up with anything to fit their narrative. I mean, okay, how about this? If that's what you want to believe, okay, believe it. It's not my job to try to convince you otherwise, like some other things that have happened in the past. There are a lot of people who believe certain things never happened, but everybody saw it happen. So you think what you want to think. I'll think what I want to think, and maybe we can meet in the middle. And I don't have time for it. I've got a lot of stuff that I've got to take care of, and debating someone on a possible conspiracy theory or their thought process. Hey, knock yourself out. If that's what you want to fall on it. I'm not going to, but that's what makes the world go round, Ted.
To me, these guys are football players, right? And they know the sport they signed up for. They know the career that they chose. And you can't treat somebody with kid gloves. I don't care if they're your quarterback or they're an offensive lineman or what. And DQ has proven this past, 2 years or year and, 2/3 that he is a player's coach, and he always looks out for the player's best interest, but also what's best for the team. This is DQ talking about they can't live their life scared.
But the guy's a competitive player, and we're not going to live our whole life scared. I can promise you that. But we're going to do everything and all the time, like great decisions for him, for the team, and where we're at. But
Yeah. Think about when the Bills player Hamlin went down.
Yeah.
Yeah, they stopped playing that game, but the next week those guys are out there cracking skulls. And I hate to say that literally, but that's just how it is. Football is a violent sport. You know, no one resigned afterwards. People understand. And it's just the reality of the game. We don't want it to happen, but we know that it can happen. And at any play, your career could be over.
Yeah, and that's the part of football careers are so short. I mean, it's a mini car wreck every time somebody gets tackled, somebody gets hit, right? And nobody wants to see that happen. We've got Drew Cohen, right? You know Drew. Drew called him
Yeah.
to B. Mitch and Finley, and he's saying, "Well, we don't need Jayden to turn into a Patrick Ramsey and have PTSD and just be shell shocked from all the hits he's taken. Like, he's not taking a ton of hits, right? It's just the times he's gotten hurt have been unbelievably awkward and just fluke. The elbow dislocation was just a fluke accident that happened, right? And this is just exacerbated off of that original one, right? He's been hurt in the pocket, right? When he scrambles, he's been diving and not taking a ton of hits. Granted, I also think he's scrambling because he's not seeing the pocket well and not feeling the pressure well. But to me, it's important for him to get back on the field. This is actually DQ saying why it's important for Jayden to be back out there.
And Coach, just looking back to last week, we know that Jayden had the great practice and that he was trending in the right direction and such. Why was it important that he did get back on the field with his teammates and look to lead his squad?
yeah, there's so much to gain from playing, and I think Howard was saying that earlier about reps. And at that point, we were probably talking about 30% of the season to go and to gain experience. And so all of that matters in your development. Like, we're looking to keep developing him for a really long time. And so if there was a chance to improve over these next, games ahead, like, we were going to go after that as hard as we could, knowing that it would pay dividends in the future. And so when you have a setback like that happen, obviously, we're bummed for him, we're bummed for us. And, that's the one thing you didn't want to happen, happened. So now we'll, move into this week. Marcus will be the starter, but, we're pleased with where it was going into the game, him coming back and being ready. So
I got a question for you then. Last game of the season, hypothetically, and he plays, but he doesn't look good. And the score is a 7-7, hypothetically, or 0-7. The opposing team is winning. Do you keep him in the game if he's not playing good, or do you pull him?
No, I mean, the game is within reach. You're not one-sided, right? And I think what happened in that Vikings game is the offense became one-sided, right? When we didn't get that touchdown on the goal line and we're down 14-0, I think eventually 17-0, it allowed a blitz-happy Vikings team to pin their ears back and just come after them. So you had to get out of your offensive playbook. If the game is that close, even if he's not playing well, you keep him in there because you've got to fight through the difficulties. You can't just pack up and quit. And that, to me, is what a lot of the fans want to do, at least the vocal minority that's on social media. But when are you going to get practice? When are you going to get reps? I mean, during Hard Knocks, there was a shot, I think it was at 5 o'clock in the morning, when you've got Cliff and Jayden running through the script. And you've got Cliff and Jayden in the bubble that early in the morning working on stuff. But guess what? He's throwing against air, right? And there's videos of Jayden today at practice from Nikki Javala and John Keim and all the beat reporters out there. And Jayden looks great, but he's throwing against air, right?
Yeah.
You need to face those live reps. And he's not going to get that during any practice or any OTA workout or mini camp or training camp.
Especially when you got the yellow jersey on and they can't touch you. So it's totally different than that 300 plus pound guy running at you and who just happens to touch you with his index on that bruise. How many times have we seen these movies where somebody's injured and they want to get them to talk, and all they do is just put that finger right there in that little injury spot, and you sing like a canary. So let's put it in perspective, people. If he's not good, he's not good. But if he is healthy, you play him.
Yeah, and I think those people, they're dead set. Nothing we say or nothing comes out is going to change their mind, right? You've got Doc Walker, you've got Brian Mitchell, you've got, Joe Theismann, you've got Jay Gruden, you've got people that have played this game at its highest level, coached this game at its highest level. I'm not talking beat reporters. I'm not talking, guys that have only covered it from the sideline. I'm talking about guys that have actually played it, all saying he should be out there. But yet sideline Adam Peters, couch Adam Peters thinks he shouldn't because you don't want to risk something happening to him. Well, guess what? Next year, every time he steps on that field, there's a risk of something happening. So at this point, there's nothing else I can or even feel like saying to those people that think he should sit for the rest of the season. And we'll just take it week by week. Right now, this week, we got the Giants. We're underdogs going up to the Meadowlands. And I honestly don't know what to expect out of this team anymore. Right? And
No.
people have been trying to find out what this team's identity is. That Doc Walker was talking about the other day on his show. Like, I don't know what our team identity is. I can't pinpoint it on anything, right? We are a heavy run team. We lead the league in stats when it comes to running, but yet we don't want to run the ball, right? Yet Kingsbury doesn't want to do it. We're the number 4th rushing offense in the league. A lot of that has to do with the quarterback scrambling and this and that, but yet we still try and be a pass-happy offense. I just don't know what these guys' actual identity is, so I don't know what we're going to see up there in the Meadowlands on Sunday afternoon.
With that being said, when does general manager, ownership say, hey, why did you guys pass the ball 3 times while you're on the 1-yard line? Do you think they have those conversations, or do you think they just let it go? Or who has that conversation? Does Dan Quinn have it with Cliff? Go
ahead.
And if so, is he saying, hey man, I can't have this. We can't have this. Your job's on the line, because ultimately my job's on the line. So, we all have to answer to someone. So is DQ answering to the owners or Adam Peters or whatever have you, and then it rolls downhill, because ultimately those are the questions that I need answered as a fan. Why are you passing the ball 3 times and you're on the 2-yard line? And that's why I said, tell me you don't want to win a football game without telling me you don't want to win a football game. And that's, to me, one of the issues or aspects that I see. And if I see that exact same thing up in New York, then we have our answer. I hate to say it, we got our answer.
I don't think they're tanking, right? I don't think that they're trying to lose on purpose by any means to get 53 guys to go along with that. It's not doable. There's so many guys on 1-year deals that need to put up tape. Oh, I know that. I'm just saying, just so fans that are, thinking that in their head, right? There's so many guys on 1-year deals, 1-year contracts that need to put up tape that are playing for that next job next year or the spot on this roster this year, right? And I don't think that ownership is coming down on DQ. I think ownership talks to Peters and allows Peters to have those discussions, but ownership was there at the locker room to greet DQ at the end of the game against the Vikings, right? I think I blame DQ for not the fact that that play was called and DQ didn't try and shut it down, right? And I understand that he wants to give his lieutenants autonomy, right? It took him a long time to step in and get rid of Joe Witt when it was obvious that Witt was just outside his depth and could not handle the job. But DQ said he hears all the play calls and he can chime in. Well, he heard that play call to Brandon Coleman and let it go through, right? And then you've got some of the fan base saying, well, he was open for a second. Like, so If Jayden beams that pass to Coleman, odds are it's going to be incomplete or it bounces off of him and that defender's there. If he lobs that ball to Coleman, the guy's got offensive lineman pads. You guys don't understand offensive lineman pads. You can't raise your hands up in the air to catch a fade. It doesn't happen like that. If he lobs that thing up in the air, that defender possibly could come back down and break on that ball and catch that thing. Sorry, it wasn't there. I don't care what your eyes were showing you. Realistically, that thing wasn't there. But DQ has to flat out tell him when he's trying to install that play during practice, because they have play installation. I'm sitting there and I'm pulling freaking Kingsbury aside and saying, what the hell are you thinking? We haven't won a game in 63 days, and you're trying to get cute with this crap. That's what I got a problem with. And like you said, if we see this again up there, that to me shows me that DQ, he might need to man up a little bit and take just a firmer stance with his coaching staff and not allow them to make these foolish mistakes, because it's just flat out foolish with some of these things Kingsbury's calling.
Well, I also think that may be a way of him to make his exit.
Kingsbury?
Yeah. I because when you look at it, his play calling, the whole year has been just not mano a mano type of football. When we need mano a mano football, we try to get pretty. And a lot of people have said that is what he does.
Yeah, that is. I mean, that is his style of football.
And that's why he has moved on from the amount of teams that he has because of that. So is this another stop for him to move on to another team? I don't know, but we as fans are frustrated, and we're on the lower end. So if we're on the lower end, once again, what is Peters? What is ownership? What are they thinking? Because I know what I'm thinking, and I don't like it.
Yeah. And we're not going to hear until Peters does his end of season debrief, which
right.
A lot of fans are saying, I can't wait till the season's over just because they're tired of watching. I'm watching every single game. I'm watching every single snap, every single rep. But I cannot wait until that end of season press conference so we can actually hear what's going on, because I had texted JP because DQ's press conference was cut off. I mentioned it during the last show. It was cut off on Tell the Truth Monday. So I texted JP and John Kimes saying, did anybody ask DQ again about that play call? Because JP asked him and he said, I haven't looked at the tape yet. Well, you had a chance to look at the tape. And no one asked him the question because of the big picture was what Kimes said, and Jayden and everything else was Zach Ertz. So I get that. But these questions have to be asked. They've got to be asking themselves that there, because at a certain point, right, you've got no one to blame but yourself if you don't do anything about it. And I'm talking about DQ.
Yeah. So ultimately, it falls on your shoulders. You are the head coach. You control everything, like the quarterback. It all comes back on him. No matter if they lost, it comes back on him because he's the quarterback.
And I'm not even going to speculate who they should get for OC next year. This isn't that podcast. Right?
No.
Go listen to our friends at, George Carmi and Big Doug or those guys for that kind of stuff. But from my shot, from Riley and I, we're talking about fans' perspective. And to me, it's obvious there's some of you guys that aren't just even watching the game. You're just chiming in during the highlights or lowlights, if you will. And I ain't got time for that either, right? If I don't blame you guys for not watching the game, right? Other things come up and this and that. Just don't chime in if you don't see what's going on. Right? And that's the other part that drives me slightly crazy, where it's obvious that some of these people online, they didn't turn it on this past week, or else they would have seen this happening. They would have seen Chris Rodriguez running his ass off. And the other part, I need to know why when C-Rod gets rolling, you give it to Bill and put him in there. Right? Do you just want this Bill experiment to work so much because you traded away Brian Robinson Jr. and you want him to work that you're just taking the rock out of Chris's hands? Because that I also don't get. Changing up certain personnel when they're moving and when they're getting in a groove.
Yeah. Do what you did to get you down there. That's how I look at it. And don't try to change up. Yeah, I understand that all right, maybe different personnel gives them a different look, and they may think maybe pass and we're going to run or vice versa. But stick with the people that got you there. Reward the young man. That's how I always looked at it. If a running back got you all the way down to the 2, then hey, okay, throw a pass play in, and if you're not successful, then give it back to that running back. Let him score. Let him get his flowers.
And I'm not saying this is what happened, but you remember Varsity Blues, that movie with Vander Beek and Ali Larter, all those people there.
Vaguely, yeah.
Yeah. So there's the running back that was just driving the ball down in that movie, and he always got it to the goal line, and the coach never let him score, right? And that turned out being more racial. I'm not saying this is what that is by any means, but towards the end of the movie, the quarterback said, screw that, we're running this play. Right? Mariota, do it. You hear that stupid play come in from him, check out of it. Right? Call an audible and then do what's right and just get the ball in the end zone. I'm tired of watching us lose, man. And this will be how many weeks? And I made a video talking about my victory steak and how I put it in the freezer. Don't know why. It's been seen 180,000 times. People apparently love me not eating steak, right? I want to defrost that thing this weekend. I want to eat that New York strip, man. And if we don't win this week, there is a good chance that DQ could lose 12 games in a row to end this season, right? The Eagles and the Cowboys are playing better football than us, and this is our best chance to actually get another win before the year's done. And
play spoiler.
If it doesn't happen, I would hate to see what goes on into this offseason, because you hear about fans talking about during the bye week and this and that. Can you imagine an entire offseason if that's how we end up this season? We got a chance to stop that. Stop the narrative this week up against New York.
Yeah. Division rival. It can happen. So I would love to know what they're installing.
Give me your game prediction, man. What do you think? What do you think happens on Sunday?
10-7. Actually, I take that back. Jackson Dart has been looking really good outside of the concussion protocol. They're coming off of a bye, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah,
they're healthy. They're healthy, or healthier, possibly. I really don't follow the Giants that much, but I see this being a close game, a really close game. And there's a part of me that sees how the Giants can win this game because they got rid of their coach, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, he's been gone for a couple of weeks now.
Yeah, he's been gone for a couple of weeks. So the new coach, he wants to show what he has because he's buying for a coaching position. There's so many levels and layers to this to where I don't know what Commander's team will come out there. And Commander's team, you guys know I love you, but you also know, if you look in the mirror, it hasn't been going good. So I can't put my money behind it because I don't know.
Yeah. I'm right there with you, man. We're getting 2.5 points, right? The Giants are favored, and it's insane, but we haven't won a game in how many days, right? It's been over 2 months. The over-under's 46.5. I don't see that happening. I just, like you said, I mean, we laughed about it last week. Jeremy McNichols to get 9 yards.
9
yards. Catch. It did not happen, right? And I'm looking at some of these receiving props right now. Let's see here. Terry McLaurin to get 61 yards, over under 61 yards. I don't know what's going to happen. Mariota dumbfounds me, right? There are some times where he looks like he should be a starter, and then the overthrow that got Zach Ertz's career ended, right? I don't know what's going to happen. All I know is I'm not putting any money on this game this weekend because I can't trust them until they prove to me that they can be trusted, if that makes sense.
Yeah, that makes total sense. And I'm right there with you. I will be putting money on other games. How about that? and I hate to say that, but I just don't know, because on one side of the fence, We played lights out against the Broncos, and that's all we as fans just wanted. Just play the exact same way you guys did. And it didn't happen. And here we are. So,
Yeah.
well, the music is playing. Lets me know that this one is behind us as well. I'll see you guys at Dorian's Red Hand at 4 o'clock on Saturday. Make sure you're there because I've got this will end at 6 o'clock. You can stay later, but I got a flight to catch to get back for this bus trip that we're going to have. So I will see you guys Saturday, and I'll see you guys on Sunday. And remember, no matter what, you rep it hard or you don't rep it at all. Rally Captain Tailgate Ted. We'll see you.